Hey, also in lesson 4 we talked about the center of the data that we collect, and now we want to talk about how spread out it is. We would call the variation, the spread, the dispersion. We're going to talk about one specific measure of variation or spread, and that is the standard deviation. So you don't have to actually use these formulas. I'm just displaying them here so you can see how they're calculated and to show you the difference so that you know when you get two answers in your calculator, you know how to choose which is appropriate. So for a sample, the standard deviation is use the symbol S, and for the population we use the Greek symbol sigma. This is lowercase sigma. So for any population parameter, we're going to use Greek symbols. For any sample statistic, we use just our regular letters. So the standard deviation really is a calculation of how far, on average, each data point is from the mean value. So to calculate an average, we would add all those distances up and divide by the number of data points. But what happens is when we add all those distances up, we get 0. So all of the values that are above the mean added to all the values below the mean will end up canceling each other out. So what somebody a long time ago figured out is if we square all those distances, we'll make them positive, and then we add them up, and we'll divide by the number of data entries. So the difference between these two equations is that, first of all, I have a sample mean and a population mean. When I calculate for a population, I divide by the number of everybody in the population. When I'm calculating the standard deviation of a sample, little n is the number of people in the sample, and I subtract 1. So what's going to happen here is when you calculate standard deviation in the calculator, you're going to get an S value and a sigma value. You have to choose which is appropriate based on whether it's a sample or a population. And you'll notice that the S value is always going to be bigger because we divided by a smaller number. So that'll make more sense when I show you in 1 second about these calculations. So here I have a sample of rental rates for a business district in Seattle in dollars. So I've actually already put this data into my calculator so I can calculate, and I'm going to do just like I did with mean, calculate one variable statistics, and I used list 2. And there I get my mean of approximately $37.89. I get some other information. Then I get S, X, and I get sigma X. Those are my two standard deviations. So you can see that sigma X is a little bit smaller than SX. That's the population standard deviation. And SX is the sample standard deviation. That happens because, again, we divided in the formula, or the calculator divided for us, by a smaller number for SX. So we have, as I said at the beginning, a sample of rental rates. So if we wanted to report the standard deviation, we would report it as S, and we would say it's approximately $3.98. And then we found the mean X bar is approximately $37.89. So the trick here is to make sure that you choose the correct value. They're very close, but we want to be exact. So I would have asked you to do this one on your own in class, and then we would talk about it. So if you have a calculator, if you're able to do this on your own, go ahead and pause this video and then find the population and sample deviation of the starting salaries for Corporation A, and then I'll do it for you. So I've entered this data already. If I do my one variable statistics, I find that the sample standard deviation S is $3,135 and approximately 81 cents. The population standard deviation is $2,974 and approximately 89 cents. So you can see there's quite a difference here in the sample standard deviation and the population standard deviation. So it's really important that when you get to a scenario, you are able to decide if it's a sample or population and you choose the correct value. So again, we did some practice in class. You can get that from me, you can get that from Planbook online, and you can try them, you can ask me questions if you have any questions or you need any help.